you ever imagine standing beside the largest creature to have ever lived on Earth? Bigger than any dinosaur, longer than 3 school buses parked end to end, and hearing it sing a song so deep and powerful it could travel for 1,000 miles beneath the ocean's surface? Now imagine that same ocean falling eerily silent. This is not science fiction. This is happening right now. And here on the Curious Playbook, we're about to dive into why the voices of the blue whales, the planet's most majestic giants, are fading away. What if I told you that their silence isn't just about whales? That it might be one of the clearest warning signs yet that the ocean itself, and by extension our own future, is in trouble? It's a story that begins in the deep with a creature whose very existence pushes the boundaries of life on Earth. The blue whale, Balænoptera musculus, is not just big, it is monumental. Fully grown, it can stretch to 30 meters, weighing an astonishing 200,000 kilograms. That's 33 elephants, or about 440 grand pianos, all in one living body. Its heart is the largest ever known in the animal kingdom, tipping the scales at 180 kilograms, the size of a bumper car. And yet, the brain inside this vast body weighs only about 7 kilograms. Its tongue alone can weigh as much as an elephant, and when it exhales through its twin blowholes, the spray can soar 9 meters high, like a vertical geyser. Underwater, they appear a deep, shimmering blue, but at the surface their skin is actually mottled gray. That mottling pattern is unique to each whale, an identity card for researchers tracking their journeys across the globe. Despite their bulk, blue whales are graceful, able to dive half a kilometer deep, holding their breath for over half an hour. And they never fully sleep. One half of their brain rests while the other stays alert, ensuring they surface for air. But their most extraordinary trait may be their voice. Blue whales possess one of the loudest calls in the natural world, up to 188 decibels, louder than a jet engine. Yet unlike the high-pitched roar of an aircraft, these calls are extremely low in frequency, often dipping below the threshold of human hearing. Humans can hear from about 20 hertz upward, but blue whales can call as low as 10 or even 8 hertz. These deep rumbles travel through seawater far better than high-frequency sounds. Here's why. Sound is essentially a series of vibrations moving through a medium, and in the ocean, water molecules transmit those vibrations far more efficiently than air. Sound travels over 4 times faster in water than in air, about 1,500 meters per second. Low-frequency sounds, because of their longer wavelengths, lose less energy over distance. That's why a single blue whale's call can cross an entire ocean basin under the right conditions. In a way, they're tapping into the ocean's own infrastructure for long-distance communication. Some parts of the sea act like giant echo chambers, thanks to something called the SOFAR channel, a natural layer of water usually around 1,000 meters deep, where sound speed reaches a minimum. If a whale's call enters this channel, it can be trapped and guided across vast distances, sometimes thousands of kilometers, without significant loss of volume. For blue whales, this is like having a built-in transoceanic telephone line. Scientists studying these calls rely on hydrophones, underwater microphones that can detect the faintest vibrations. A hydrophone works by converting underwater sound pressure into electrical signals, which are then analyzed for frequency, duration, and pattern. Networks of hydrophones, some originally developed for military submarine detection during the Cold War, have been repurposed for marine biology. This technology has given scientists a window into the secret acoustic lives of whales, revealing migration routes, mating seasons, and even individual dialects. But humanity's awareness of whale songs is surprisingly recent. Before the mid-20th century, whalers knew whales made sounds, but few understood their scale or beauty. Most hunting was guided by visual spotting and crude explosive harpoons, not by sound. It wasn't until the 1950s, when U.S. Navy hydrophones picked up strange, repetitive noises in the deep, that anyone outside indigenous cultures truly heard these oceanic voices. At first, the Navy suspected they were mechanical or geological in origin, maybe a new kind of submarine, or underwater volcanic activity. In 1967, biologist Roger Payne and engineer Scott McVeigh published a groundbreaking paper in Science, revealing that these sounds were songs produced by whales. complex, patterned, and sustained over time. Payne's later audio recordings released to the public became unexpectedly famous. They even influenced global policy. The haunting beauty of Songs of the Humpback Whale helped rally public opinion for the 1972 U.S. Marine Mammal Protection Act and the global moratorium on commercial whaling in 1986. While humpback songs captured the public's imagination, blue whale calls were quieter in cultural terms, too low for human ears without electronic processing, but no less extraordinary in their reach and precision. Despite their staggering size and power, blue whales live at the mercy of something tiny: krill. These shrimp-like crustaceans are their sole source of nourishment. During peak feeding, a blue whale can consume 40 million krill in a single day, over 3,600 kilograms. They filter feed using baleen plates in their jaws, swallowing and straining seawater like a living sieve. When krill are abundant, the whales grow thick layers of blubber, a quarter of their body mass, to sustain them during long migrations and fasting periods that can stretch for months. Their annual journey takes them from cold polar feeding grounds to warmer breeding waters, often spanning thousands of miles. Some make this migration every year, others remain in rich feeding zones year-round. For calves, life starts big, 7 meters long at birth, weighing over 3,000 kilograms and gaining 90 kilograms a day, fueled by their mother's rich milk. But this ancient rhythm of feeding, migrating, and singing is being disrupted. A 6-year acoustic study off California has revealed something startling. Blue whale vocalizations have declined by roughly 40%. This is not because the whales are gone, but because they have stopped singing. The cause? A marine heatwave, unlike anything recorded in modern times, ominously nicknamed the Blob. It began in 2013 in the Bering Sea, a stubborn mass of unusually warm water that spread until, by 2016, it covered 2,000 miles of the Pacific Ocean. Temperatures rose more than 2.5 degrees Celsius above average. This wasn't just warm water, it was a biological shockwave. Toxic algal blooms spread, krill populations plummeted, and many marine species suffered mass die-offs. For blue whales, the effect was devastating. With their only food source scarce, they entered a state of energy crisis. As John Ryan, a biological oceanographer at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, put it, "It's like trying to sing while you're starving." All their energy was redirected toward survival, finding food rather than communicating or breeding. Their long songs, usually a hallmark of mating competition, fell silent. Other species adapted more easily. Humpback whales, for instance, could switch to small fish like sardines and anchovies when krill was scarce. In fact, their vocalizations increased during the same period. But blue whales' rigid dependence on krill made them acutely vulnerable. This is happening to a species already on the edge. Before industrial whaling began in the late 1800s, there were more than 250,000 blue whales. The advent of modern whaling ships and harpoon guns triggered a slaughter that wiped out more than 99% of them. Between 1904 and 1967, over 350,000 blue whales were killed in the southern hemisphere alone. Only the international ban in the 1960s spared them from extinction, but their recovery has been slow. Today, estimates put their numbers at just 10,000 to 25,000 worldwide. And now, climate change threatens to undo even that fragile comeback. Marine heat waves like the Blob are becoming more frequent and intense. The oceans absorb over 90% of excess heat from our warming planet, making such events 3 times more likely than they were in the 1940s. The silence of the blue whales is more than the absence of song. It's a signal that the ocean's food web is straining under unprecedented pressure. That strain ripples outward. Fewer feeding opportunities mean less reproduction, fewer calves, and an even slower population recovery. Dawn Barlow, a marine ecologist at Oregon State University, points out that this affects the entire ocean ecosystem. If a species capable of traveling the full length of North America's Pacific coast cannot find enough food, it means the productivity of the ocean itself is faltering. The consequences don't end with whales. Krill are a critical link in the ocean's role as a carbon sink, consuming phytoplankton and transferring carbon to the deep sea. If krill populations collapse, the ocean's capacity to regulate the climate could weaken, accelerating global warming. In that way, the silence of the blue whale is also a silence in the Earth's climate defense. Listening to the ocean is not just poetic, it is necessary science. The songs of whales, recorded over decades, form a kind of living archive of ocean health. When those voices vanish, the data they once carried vanishes too. Kelly Benoit Bird, a marine ecologist also with the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, warns, if even blue whales can't find food, it's a really large-scale consequence. The story of the blue whale's silence is, ultimately, a mirror. It reflects how a single environmental shift, a rise of a few degrees in ocean temperature, can disrupt a system that has endured for millions of years. And it reminds us that protecting whales means protecting the oceans, and protecting the oceans means protecting ourselves. The silence we are hearing today may be temporary, if we act. That means curbing greenhouse gas emissions, safeguarding krill populations, and maintaining healthy ocean currents and habitats. But if we do nothing, this generation may be the last to hear a blue whale's song carry across 1,000 miles of ocean. The call is still there, fainter, rarer, but present. It is not just a sound, it is a plea. As Don Barlow said, now more than ever, it's important to listen. If this sparked a question in your mind, or there's a topic you've always wondered about, let us know below. We're always looking for the next curious story to unravel. And if you found this fascinating, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because here on the Curious Playbook, we believe every mystery of the natural world is worth hearing, before it falls silent.